Hi, welcome back. Today I want to talk a little bit more about another car that I own or had the pleasure of owning, this beautiful 1998 BMW Z3 or M Roadster, to be politically correct. Um, so my journey with the Z3, I guess when I was about 24 years old, I drove down from Canada to South Carolina, I believe, where I picked up a 1.9 liter. At the time, you could find really good deals in the US, and went down. It was a beautiful car, very low mileage. Drove it back, enjoyed it for a couple of years in Canada, and then it went to a nice home. But since that day, I've just been, kind of wondering, what if I grab another one of these cars? What would it be like? And being older and more mature and having a little bit more, room in terms of money to play with, I said, why not go for an M version and see what it's all about. Now, one thing about these cars, there's a lot of talk about S54 versus S52, and a lot of you might be hesitant to dive into one platform or the other. And honestly, I have the S52. It's not that I lust after the S54 or anything like that. On the contrary, I kind of love driving this car at a really nice low speed, right kind of in the torque curve, where down. I feel that the S52 has a lot of torque down low, which suits this car perfectly. It's really made to, you can race around with it. It's very lightweight. You could chuck it into corners, but it is really a car that's well suited to just go for that nice relaxing Sunday drive. Get your thoughts in check and enjoy your Sunday. Relax. You worked hard all week, and deserve a break and deserve some time, either with the wife or your loved one, and or by yourself. So yeah, I mean, it's been an excellent car. Now, let me tell you something useful about the car. Obviously, it's a 3.2 liter straight six. It's an S52, like I said, a 1998. I didn't do anything to this car. It's extremely stock. It only has 64,000 kilometers, which in miles would be around 40,000 miles or so. So it's very, very low mileage. I picked up this car from an old gentleman who loves to work on motorcycle. He built himself a little, well, not a very little, but more of like a 5-bay garage and wood workshop. And I went over there and saw the car, fell in love with it, paid him on the spot, and drove it back. I've had the car for just over a year, and other than keeping it in good health and taking care of it mechanically the way you should with a car like this, I haven't really done anything to it. I thought about, oh, what if I lowered it, or what if I threw some spacers on it just to get the wheels out a little more. But once you drive it, you don't really kind of, I don't know, it all, you just forget everything. You don't care about the ride height, or about the spacing of your tires. Of course, you can make it look more beautiful, but there's something elegant about the fact that this is just a stock car with nothing really done to it, and it just looks great to me the way it is. So let me bring you a little bit more into the interior of this car, and maybe give you a little walkthrough of the interior. So on the interior of the car, you can see this beautiful two-tone leather red. It's kind of like a slightly deep red on black. I always looked at this color in the pictures and was hesitant, thought that it looked a little weird, too much stuff going on, very busy. It's actually completely different when you own it and see it in person. I think the reason why it works is because the red is extremely flat. It doesn't come out really well on the on video or photos, but It is a fairly flat red color. You can see here that I opted for a Alpine CD player with some Bluetooth and a little bit of update so that I can enjoy music, Spotify, etc. while I'm driving around. Original steering wheel, as you can see, the little chrome rings around the gauges just like you would see in the M3. So these are actually an M3. It's the E36 platform M3, so the North American version. What I can tell you is when I got the car, I was extremely surprised to see that the center console that was here used to be actually a what do you call it, a 6 cassette player, and it came with a cassette deck over here. So I went over to BMW, and luckily they still sell these. Was able to pick one up for a couple of $100 Canadian and install it myself. It's literally, I think, one screw and maybe a clip in the front. It was very easy. So yeah, other than that, I don't know what else to say. There's a nice little croissant there hiding on the side, but yeah, other than that, this is the interior. Super cute. If you're ever looking for a car like this and come across a two-tone interior like this with the black on red, and you just kind of are afraid to go for it based on the photos, I would say don't hesitate, just go for it. It's beautiful. Although the black is nice, I think this just is a little more special. One thing I really love about this car is these little visors. I don't know why, but I just always got a kick out of them. They're super tiny in person, and what I can tell though, having owned this car, you could just feel the quality. It's amazing. The shifter shifts really crisp, as if it's brand new. Yes, it does only have 40,000 miles or 60,000 kilometers on it, but regardless, it feels solid. The suspension feels solid. The car in general, the chassis feels solid. And yeah, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the feeling of driving this car. Hey, thanks for joining me again. So like I said, I want to talk a little more about driving the M Roadster, or Z3s in general, and why I highly recommend that if you can own one, even for a few years, just to experience the thrill of driving it, I would highly recommend you pick one up and try it for yourself. It's such a lovely little roadster. It's not only are they beautiful and timeless, and I think they're just aging so well, especially with the little the little detail on the side. I can't point properly, but what do you call that thing on the side? It's just a beautiful car. The reason why I love this car, it's because driving a Miata, I was test driving a Miata while I was looking for this car, and what I noticed right away is that I felt it was fun. It was a small little roadster, but I felt like I was not really in the car. I just felt exposed. Pulled up next to a truck, I don't know, some small, not an 18-wheeler, but a little bit smaller of a truck, and I was kind of afraid. I felt exposed. I felt like that thing could drive over me any minute. In the Z3, you don't get that feeling. It's a little more substantial. You feel like there's a little more car around you. However, what's really cool about it, the windshield or something about the setup or the way you sit in the car, you don't feel like you're in the car. You still feel like you are outside of the car. You feel like you're in a roadster. And I love that because I ride a motorcycle, and I find that if you're curious, it's an R9T. It's also a BMW. But what I love about it is that you feel like you're actually outside. You feel like you're on a motorcycle. You feel free, but without the helmet. And you don't feel exposed, but you are in a small car. You're in a smaller car, but sorry, I'm talking too quick. You're in a smaller car, but at the same time you still feel protected, and you feel you feel good. Now, what is it like to actually drive the car? Well, it's quick. It's plenty quick for a car like that. S52, Highly recommend it. I wouldn't even bother with the S54. It's overrated. It's not meant for this car. Maybe on the Z4 because it's a bigger car and the chassis may be able to handle it. But if you don't want to tear your car apart, I mean literally, like where the subframe is in the back and the differential, they rip from too much torque. And mostly I think on the S54, you know, if you want an engine that's well suited for this car, go for the S52, save yourself the money, get a really clean one instead with the extra cash, which is what I did, and never really cared, you know, about an S54 or an S52. It's just perfect. It purrs, it sounds amazing, it drives amazing. The suspension, you right away feel like you're in an older car. I don't know, maybe the way they used to make suspension back then was a little more mechanical and, you know, not bouncy but tight. But yeah, I guess you could say it, you know, it has that movement in it. But at the same time, once you're going at a reasonable speed and you're, you know, in some twisty roads, it just feels like it gets planted. The whole character of the car changes and it feels you never feel like you can push this car enough. It's so lightweight that you can take turns at speeds like, and it takes it like nothing. It's confusing to me, you know, how it's able to do that, but you just feel planted the whole time. They're just amazing cars. Look at it. It's so beautiful. You know, you could just grab yourself a coffee, sit on the side, admire your car, take some pictures of it. Yeah. All right, well, thank you. It was really just a little clip. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Z3s, and you know, not a lot of people have the chance to maybe own and drive one. So if you want to know more about how they drive, or if there's anything you're interested in finding out about these cars, I'll do my best to explain it in the comments. Thank you so much.